With just a few days to Christmas, this is the perfect time to do a chicken video once again, because chicken is a very integral part of Christmas festivities, especially in Kenya. And so those of us who grew up in the village or had to visit our grandparents in the village, we remember those days when you go home and they're told to chase after the chicken and you catch it, and then that's the chicken you have for the meal. So chicken is a very sentimental, I think, an integral part of our Christmas festivities, and it's a perfect time to do another chicken video. So in today's video, we're going to discuss a few lessons that we've learned that are important for anyone who's going to start this journey of self-sufficiency. And also, we're going to share the lessons that we've learned, and hopefully these are going to make you successful. And by the time it comes to end of 2025, you're going to end up with chicken as healthy as this. This chicken is quite heavy. It's more than maybe around 2 kgs. It's quite heavy. And so if you avoid the mistakes that we made and also consider the lessons that we've learned, we feel that you're going to be able to achieve such size of chicken by the end of 2025, and you're going to have a very good festive season eating chicken. As much as when you're doing self-sufficiency, you're only going to start with a small number of birds, but I feel it's good for you to anticipate essentially how many birds you want to end up with. And with that number in mind, then you design a proper chicken coop. Now, what are the parameters for a good chicken coop? First thing I think is cleanliness. And cleanliness entails what? The droppings have to be cleaned like every day. And that's what I'm saying. We made a mistake here. This space needs to be at least quite big, so that between where the chicken can stand and where the droppings drop, and there needs to be enough space that you can just push it backwards or to the front, and you clean it every day. That's the first thing, cleanliness. The birds should not get access to their droppings, because once they start eating their droppings, and then now they get exposed to diseases. The other thing is ventilation. Ventilation, we didn't make a mistake. You can see all this area here is open, so there's a lot of air coming in and out. And at the back there, I'm not sure you can see from here, but I'll show you. At the back, there's also space, so the air can flow either to the front, to the backwards, or to the back. And you can see the ventilation here is perfect. We did that. So from there, from our first chicken coop, we learned the lesson on, especially on the space where you live, where the droppings are, so you can easily clean that every day. So now to our latest chicken coop, you can see how it is. We have no, of course, it's not, the droppings should not drop on the ground, but you can see the space between the droppings and where they're dropping. We're going to put some iron sheet here at some point. However, the chicken inside here do not get access to their droppings at all, and that has kept them quite healthy for the months they've been here, or they sleep inside here. So yeah, that's important. Chicken coop, please design it professionally, and spend the number of birds you're going to end up with. Especially if you're doing self-sufficient, then you don't keep so many birds. So just a proper chicken coop that your birds can fit inside. And also cleanliness is very important, and ventilation for the chicken coop. So that's the first mistake we did, and how we corrected it when you go to this chicken coop. So another mistake that you can do as a beginner self-sufficient poultry farmer is keeping the wrong breed. And the wrong breed here, I mean, there's a lot of breeds in the market. Here, especially in Kenya, we have improved Kenyeji, we have Kuroila, we have all types of birds. And we also have these indigenous local birds. We call them local, but they're indigenous. And there's a wide difference to all these kind of birds because they're like resistant to diseases, how long they take to mature, number of eggs they lay, the weight they achieve in terms of meat. So you need to identify what breed works for you. And I believe, like, if you have a bit of space and you're not a commercial farmer, then the best breed, I think, would be the local indigenous breeds. Let me just show you that. I would recommend the local breed, which is indigenous. We call them Kienyeji in Kiswahili. But these birds have a high resistance to diseases. They're also very good when they are like roaming around, foraging for food and all that. And they don't get diseases easily, or they're not as susceptible to diseases as easily as improved breeds. Yeah, and from my experience, I've had neighbors and people around here where we stay who went and bought maybe 100 chicks, 1 day old or 1 month old, improved chicken. And when the disease comes like Newcastle, you find they've lost all of them, or they lose about 60–70%. But these birds, ours, they roam around, they forage, they sometimes they rain on. Though not usually, they know at this point they understand. Like when it's raining, they rush back to the house. But these birds are hardy, and you as a self-sufficient farmer, or you as a self-sufficient poultry farmer, it's quite easy to manage because of these qualities in this kind of birds. And again, let me just put this one back. And again, the reason we keep this kind of breed for us is the sentimental value. We have an attachment to it, for it. And I think as Africans, or as Kenyans for that matter, these are the birds we grow around. These are the birds that they used to stay with us in houses. And then in the morning you open up and they just go out to forage. These are the birds that we've grown out with over the years, and there's a sentimental value to them. This is the right breed to actually keep as a self-sufficient poultry farmer. And if you have some space, not in the cities, but if you have some space, maybe in the cosmopolitan areas or in a village like us, these birds are good. This will be the right breed I would recommend for you to keep, because this one you can just keep 5 birds, open the door in the morning, they go roam, come back in the evening to the house, and then you get your eggs. You'll get your eggs and your meat, from them. So the other thing I just need to inform you about this breed. The only thing I need to inform you about the local indigenous breed is that first, it takes a long time to mature. It will take about 6 months just for the bird to start laying eggs, and maybe around the same time, 6 or 7 months for the bird to have enough weight so that you can slaughter it for meat. However, when it's ready, the meat is very nice and the eggs are very nice. In fact, what I've learned, I think, in my 2.5 years farming indigenous chicken, is that these chicken are supposed to be eaten the way they used to be eaten with our grandparents. These birds, when you cook them, you don't need to even add spices. Just need onions and some tomato, and then just cook them the way they used to be cooked with stew. And to consume them, and this is my own opinion, they should not even be eaten with rice. You need to eat them with ugali, which is our staple food. You need ugali, and ugali, not the one from the shop. You need to take where the maize you take to the portion mill and it's crushed. That is the perfect combination when you're eating traditional chicken. And the vegetables, you need to accompany them with either the traditional vegetable, that is either managu or suga in Luo, chinsaga or spider plant, or there are traditional vegetables like what you call pumpkin leaves, cheveve in Luya, I think, for the Luya. If you can do the worst, please do skuma, don't do cabbage. So just, you need to eat this chicken with traditional vegetables and traditional ugali, not the one you buy from the shop. That's a very important point to note. And the eggs are very nice too. The eggs are very nice. You don't need to give them any hormones for you to get the yellow yolk. They are very, the eggs are very nice, and they're very, automatically you get the yellow yolk. They're very sweet eggs. The other mistake that we made on this farm, and also that cost us a lot, was assuming you can transition automatically from a self-sufficiency poultry farmer to a commercial farmer. Yeah, that's a huge mistake that we did, because at some point we used we had so many chicken, and then they were laying so many eggs, and so we gave those eggs to the turkeys to sit on them so that you can hatch many chicks. And at some point, one turkey was hatching 40 chicks. When you give it 60 eggs, 50 eggs gives about 40 chicks. Another one 30 something, 30 something chicks. And we had a population explosion on the farm. And so we thought, now we have so many chicken, we can start selling eggs, and maybe the proceeds from selling the eggs are going to be able to feed the chicken. Wrong assumption, because at some point we had close to 140, I think, chicken on the farm. Now, that's not enough birds for you to be a commercial farmer. One point to note, I think so. That's not a good enough number for you to be a commercial farmer. And even if you sell those eggs, you're not going to be able to sell to use the proceeds to feed the chicken. So we struggled a little bit. Um, because I think we didn't understand that being a self-sufficiency farmer and being a commercial chicken farmer are two very different things, and they involve a lot of different things that you have to do. For example, I think for you to be a commercial farmer, I feel if I was to be a commercial chicken farmer, I would make sure that I have the money. First of all, I'd have upfront all the money that I need to feed my chicken from the time they're chicks until the time that I'm able to sell them off to the market. As a self-sufficient farmer, there's not a lot of mathematics involved in it, because you just keep a small number of birds to feed your family. Either you get eggs from them or meat, and mostly they forage outside. So you don't have to worry a lot about how to feed them or what to feed them or how much money you need to feed them, as opposed to a commercial farmer. And you can actually see at that point when you had a lot of birds on the farm, that's when we moved from our first chicken coops. We built this one, and then a couple of months later we had to build this one. We thought now we are going to be commercial farmers, but no, we were actually self-sufficiency farmers, and that was our model, and we needed to stick to that model. So you as a beginner self-sufficient farmer, you have to understand, if you want to be if you want to keep the poultry just for your family's to feed your family, you need to understand how many times you're going to eat chicken, how many times you need eggs, and keep a number that can sustain that, as opposed to just letting the population boom on the farm, and then you end up with so many birds that you can't feed. So what did you do once we had made this mistake? It took a while. We stopped hatching chicken, and we actually consumed over 100 birds in a couple of months. So we had to slaughter like 4 in a week, and then freeze some, and then eat some for the day, until we got the numbers that you can comfortably keep on this farm. And that's where we are now. The other mistake that you would actually make as a new self-sufficient farmer is assuming it's easy work. It's not easy. In fact, it's far from easy. I'm sure you've watched our videos, you've seen the amount of work that we have to do on the farm. You've seen me going to the chicken coops to clean. I've actually explained to you how tough it is to clean here, because we left a smaller space for cleaning. You have to be observant. You have to watch to check your chicken droppings every morning and evening, so that you know whether they are sick or not, or they're healthy or not. You have to look at your chicken general health. You have to look at their feathers. You have to check a lot of things, and most of the work is physical. You have to clean, sweep. You have to give them water. You have to make sure they are well fed and on time. You have to make sure. Sometimes you have to carry things like vegetation from the farm to give to them. You have to go get, let's say, sukuma wiki to come and give to them. You have to. It's a lot of work. You have to do like 3 hours in the morning and then another few hours in the afternoon. So you should not make the assumption that it's easy work. You have to be ready mentally and physically, because it's going to be a lot of work, and most of the work is physical. It's going to be physical. However, I can tell you for sure, when we came to the farm here, I used to weigh about 91 kgs. Now I go on average about 80. That's because I'm exercising. It's because of the work that I have to do. I have to climb. You know, our farm, we have both the poultry, and we have the crops. So I have to climb up and down, and it's slanting. So I have to go up the hill, down the hill, and then up the hill again. I have to be here to sweep. I have to make sure this place is clean. I have to so that physical work helps you. Actually, it's hard work. It helps you. You exercise, improving your health, and also the rewards for all this hard work outweigh the hard work, because you get good meat, you get good eggs, and you're healthy. Now I'm sure you're asking yourself, we made all these mistakes. Did we learn any lessons? Yes, indeed we did. And these are important for any self-sufficient farmer. I think there are 3 key things for you to succeed, especially keeping poultry, and in particular chicken, as a self-sufficient farmer. The first thing I think is you have to understand diseases. And number 2, biosecurity, security in general. And number 3 is nutrition. So let me just break this down into different things. The first lesson you've learned is knowledge is power. So you have to keep on updating yourself. You have to keep on reading about, especially diseases, because chicken, and depending on how you keep your chicken, they'll always get sick in one way or another. They'll all get sick in one another. But we've discussed, if you watch, again, you go back to our videos on our channel, you'll see We've discussed how we prevent diseases on the farm. And one thing I mentioned is cleanliness and ventilation. I've just mentioned that to you. The other thing is boosting immunity of your chicken. And you've seen videos of us giving our chicken regularly. We give them in their water, give them either ginger, aloe vera, and pepper. You need to grow those three things on your farm so that you can easily use them when needed. So diseases are something you have to keep on reading how you can notice about the symptoms of different diseases. You have to keep on because like coccidiosis has so many manifestations. They come in different forms. So you really have to keep on reading and attending forums, or like on this YouTube channel, one of the ways you can actually educate yourself on diseases because they always share experience. But again, another point to note, if your chicken coop is clean and it's well ventilated, the diseases actually, the instance of diseases will actually reduce a lot. Point number 2, lesson number 2, security. Security takes different forms. There's biosecurity, where I prevent people from or any other things from bringing diseases into your farm. And that's if your farm is very busy or you have a lot of visitors, you have to put on I don't know what it's called, but where people can dip their feet in so they can disinfect their shoes before they come onto your poultry farm. The other part of security is protecting your birds from predators. The predators we have here are like hawks, we have eagles, there's some animal I'm forgetting about it. It looks like a mongoose. Maybe it's a mongoose that eats the chicken too. So you really have to have a fence around your farm, and a strong fence for that matter, so your birds don't get eaten by these things. You can actually lose, especially when you have like young chicks, you can lose a lot of them to eagles and hawks because they just time properly, swoop in and pick one and go. And if they test the first blood, they'll always come back to take some more. How do you prevent eagles here? We have you've seen the turkeys, the male turkeys walking around. They're very good. They're very good hindrance. Lack of a better word. They're very good when they are at the farm. They actually protect the chicken from the hawks and the eagles because they either make noise, they look big, and the eagles are scared of them. We also have the guinea fowl that actually make a lot of noise when they sense there's some danger around, and the chicken get a warning and they rush to safety. And we also have fences that prevents other animals from coming. We have the fence that is all around the farm, though it's worn down now a lot. And sometimes, especially now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, why are chicken inside? That's because our neighbor, there's a place they've grown beans, and the beans are quite young. So if you let a chicken out and the fence has worn out, there's spaces there, the chicken go and eat the leaves. So again, to prevent any conflicts, we've kept the birds inside now for a few days until the beans get to a place where the chicken cannot eat anymore. Then you let them out. Or we're going to repair the fence by then. The other thing on security again, because remember you're protecting your birds from predators, from diseases that people can bring onto your farm, and also thieves. In rural Kenya now, there's a lot of issues with unemployment, and most young men have taken into stealing. And chicken is one of the hottest commodities around here because they're going to sell it very fast to hotels around here or to people, especially now during the festive season. There's a big demand for chicken, and they can steal and take to them. So how do you protect that against that? So for us, we have first you can see the chicken coop again, proper designing. There's the mesh here, and also you have smaller chicken wire inside that prevents the smaller predators from going in. The entrance or the door to the chicken coop, it's locked at night with a padlock, and also the structure itself is quite strong. We have used a strong material to build the chicken coop, so that security is very important. You can actually go to bed and wake up in the morning, or maybe leave the farm for a little bit, and you come find all your birds have been stolen, and they set you back. Some work you've done for months, you go back to zero again. So security is very important. We've gone a bit further also. We have cameras that actually look at the farm here and also at the homestead. So in case of anything, you're able to identify who actually did it. And also cameras are entrance. People know when they're cameras, they're scared of that. So security is very important, both against the predators and also from protecting diseases from coming onto your farm. Last but not least, nutrition is a very important lesson you learned about nutrition. At the end of the day, your birds or your chicken should have consumed a balanced diet. which means they have got carbohydrates, they've got proteins for growth, they've got vitamins for protection against diseases, and also some minerals in their food. So it's important for you to actually first observe the kind of food that you're giving your birds. And if they're foraging around, which means they're getting access to insects, grass, other vegetation, you also need to add like some food on top, like some commercial food on top, just a little bit, to make sure that at least, even if they didn't consume any of the vitamins or any of the carbohydrates outside, they get some at the end of the day. So it's important to make sure your birds are well fed. And why is this important? Because remember, the reason you're keeping your birds is that you are interested in getting eggs from them, meat, and you also want them to be happy. We are all happy as beings when we are well fed. So if you want your birds to give you eggs regularly and good size eggs, you also need to feed them well. If you need your birds to mature on time, in a good time, and also you get meat, good meat, you also have to make sure they get proper nutrition. So that's very important. Nutrition is a very important aspect. And so as a conclusion, on the lessons that I learned, let me just state the three of them. Uh, you need to update yourself on diseases, which are very important. Every day, just come to your chicken, look at the droppings, look at the general well-being, look at the feathers, look at the how they are, look whether they have any droppings from their mouth or whatever. Very important. Number two, you also need to know if there is a manifestation of a certain disease, how you're going to either treat it up, and also how you prevent in the future infection for that disease. The other thing is security, very important. Security, which means you protect your birds from everything, from thieves, from diseases, from predators, and all that. Number three, nutrition. Why are these things important? If your birds are not well fed, or they are sick, or they are exposed to insecurity, you can lose them all in a day. So these are very important. And as a first-time farmer, imagine if you keep your birds for 3 months and you lose them, you're going to be very discouraged. So very important to keep, to take care of to know these lessons, and also take care, make sure that your birds are well taken care of. Now, as the population of your birds grow, now you've already started. It was a resolution for 2025. You've started your self-sufficiency journey. There are things that you also observe. You have to observe to do with your poultry. And I'm sure you're asking ourselves why we have these different sections of the farm, of the poultry coop. And let me just explain that to you. This is the parent stock. The chicken here, the parent stock. Here we have new cockerels that we brought in, but we've not released them yet. We exchanged with a neighboring farmer a while ago to avoid inbreeding. So we brought in new cockerels from a different farm. So the two cockerels you see down here, we brought them from another farm. These are going to be the fathers for the next generation of chicken on this farm. On top, we have the parent stock, which means they are going to mix with these two cockerels and give us the next generation. On this side, we have cockerels that were born on the farm from the last generation. So these are for own consumption, and you can see it's perfect timing. They are mature almost at the time of Christmas. So these are the ones you are going to consume for Christmas. And then on this side, we have the hens now that we hatched about 5.5, 6 months ago. Now these are the next generation now. So from here, we're going to identify the strong breeds with the big bodies, the chicken with the big body, and those ones will go to the parent stock. And then the others that are left over, we are going to consume those ones. And this is because now next time we are going to hatch another maybe 40 or 50 chicks for the farm. So that we keep on, every time we keep on producing the number that we can manage and also consume, so that we don't increase the population too much and it becomes hard to manage. So that's also an important point to know as a self-sufficiency farmer. So that's it for today's video. We want to wish happy holidays to all our viewers and our subscribers. We hope you enjoy this festive season. Remember what I said in this video. If you keep this kind of chicken, local indigenous, the best way to enjoy them is to eat them with traditional ugali and traditional vegetables, And you don't even add any spices when you're cooking the chicken, just tomatoes and onions, and let them cook well. You'll actually appreciate the true taste of indigenous local chicken. Yeah, so enjoy your holidays. We really appreciate you. We appreciate your views. We appreciate your comments. Our family has grown. We are almost now at 6,000 subscribers. If we really appreciate if you can make us get to 6,000 by the end of the year, so that next year we start with our target. But we really appreciate you, and thank you for being part of the Taraji Eco Farm family.